Real Housewives of New Jersey are currently in New Orleans filming their cast trip for the upcoming season. And we've learned that Tamra Judge quit the show while filming during this trip. Now, some people, like myself, are side-eyeing this situation. Andy Cohen has now came out and said why he thinks Tamra may have quit. Well, he didn't really say why he thinks that she quit, but he gave some, gave a little bit of reasoning, gave a little bit of, tried to give Tamra some understanding as to why she may have quit. Either way, you better believe we're going to talk about it. All right, welcome back to Damien After Dark. If you're new here or you haven't subscribed yet, click the subscribe button. Like this video below for me by clicking the thumbs up button. That helps me get in the algorithm. Join the conversation by getting in the comment section below. And if you would like to donate, in the description box below will be some ways that you can donate. Okay, baby? Okay, baby. Let's talk about this. All right, if y'all love reality TV, Real Housewives, like I do, I watch them all. And right now, Real Housewives of Orange County, they're filming in New Orleans on their cast trip. This is supposed to be a really good season. They're coming off of a really good season. They had a really good season last year with all the Shannon drama. They had, a newcomer named, what was her name? Gina? What was her name? I don't remember her name. Anyway, there was a newcomer on there. She did really well. All the cast is back. The entire cast returned. Gretchen Rossi is now a part of the cast. If you remember her, she was an arch nemesis of Tamra, so they brought her onto the show. And all the girls are filming over in New Orleans for their cast trip. Now, you know how in Housewives they do 2 cast trips, because y'all might be thinking, New Orleans, Damien, why are they going to New Orleans on their cast trip? What about the big extravagant trips? With the Real Housewives, they do 2 trips. They do a smaller trip towards the beginning of the season, and then they do the bigger extravagant trip at the end of the season, right? So they're in the beginning phases of filming, and they are over in New Orleans, as I said, for this smaller trip, and all the cast is there, and something went down. Something went down to where Tamra Judge said she was done. Tamra said, I'm out. I quit. I'm done, so. But I don't know if I'm buying it, okay? I don't know if I'm buying it, if I'm buying what she's selling, because here's the thing. First of all, she posted to her social media and said the following about how she quit the show, and there's far more important things going on in her life. There's real things happening in the world right now, and she didn't have time for this reality TV BS anymore. Now, a blogger reposted what she said and captioned, "Does this mean Tamra Judge quit?" And Tamra commented to that blogger and said yes, with a lot of exclamation points at the end, okay? So, Andy chimed in, okay? Andy chimed in. Just a second, you guys. All these stupid ads popping up left and right. So, Andy does a radio show on Sirius XM. He's got his own radio show. And they talked about it. And he said, this is according to page 6, okay? After Judge 57 announced her departure from the Bravo reality series Sunday night during a cast trip to New Orleans, Cohen provided his Radio Andy listeners with some insight. Andy said, quote, "I got the report of what happened last night. All I will say is this. I can't comment on what's going on while we're filming shows," the RHOC executive producer explained with caution on Monday. He goes on to say, "I guess the only thing that is at the top of my mind is that one of her best friends, if not her best friend, is going through an incredibly intense health crisis. So keep that in mind." Page 6 goes on to continue to say, Tamara's close friend and 2T's in a Pod co-host, Teddy Mellencamp, who is currently taking a brief sabbatical from the podcast, is battling skin cancer that metastasized to her brain and lungs. Last month, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills alum, 43, underwent brain surgery to have tumors removed. Now, if you guys didn't know that about Teddy, we all know Tamra and Teddy hosted a podcast together. It was a really popular podcast. They were real friends in real life. Teddy is battling cancer right now. As they said in the article, she had skin cancer, something that she talked about on her podcast. If you listened to, to their podcast, she talked about her journey with skin cancer, and now that is spread into her lungs and what else did they say? It spread to her lungs and brain. Jesus, bless her heart. Poor Teddy. Teddy was never the most liked housewife, but regardless of what we watch, how we feel about these ladies, could you imagine? I don't wish that on my worst enemy, and my heart goes out to Teddy for what she's going through and her family. Dear God. Um, Now, people are saying that when it comes to this whole Tamara situation, people are saying that some things went down. The streets are talking. They're saying some things went down in the on the New Orleans cast trip. Things got really heated, and everybody was pretty much up against Tamara, right? Tamara was the target this season, and they were at a dinner. They were somewhere doing something in New Orleans, and everybody was pretty much at Tamara's throat for something she had done, right? Everybody. And she couldn't take the heat. She couldn't handle the pressure, and she got up and ran away in classic Tamara fashion. This is nothing new. We've seen her get up from dinner parties. We've seen her get up from scenes and burst out and say, "You'll never see my face again. I quit." We've seen her hide in bushes, drunk and crying. So I don't know if I believe this. I don't believe that she quit, okay? I do believe what happened while they were filming is that things got too hot and she said, "I'm not doing this," and she left and she quit the show. But I don't think she quit. I think Andy and Bravo knows that she didn't quit. I think that they know that this is just an outburst. This is just a tantrum. This is just her emotions, and that she'll come back around. Tamara loved this job. Tamara would have sold her granddaughter for this job, would have sold her left arm. She would have gave Eddie up to keep this job. I don't think she quit. I think she had a moment, maybe she had a split second moment where she was like, "I quit," and she walked away. But she's definitely going to come back. She'll be filming as soon as they get back from the cast trip. She'll be filming. So I don't know if I really believe it. And I think Andy is aware of that, but he's playing into it in a way like, oh, well, Tamara's going through a lot right now with her friend. That's why I don't think he really even confirmed her quitting. That's why I don't think he was like, yes, Tamara quit the show, you guys. I think because he knows she's going to come back around, and he's pretty much saying give her some grace because she's going through a lot with her friend and what her friend is battling. Now, a lot of fans are also saying that Tamra is going to use what Teddy is going through to her defense as to justifying her terrible behavior. Tamra's not been the most liked housewife. We know that. She's very she's let's just say she's one of those that feels like they've almost sold their soul for the show. She'll do almost anything that a producer asks her to do. She'll consciously do anything to keep her paycheck and to keep the story going and to keep the show alive. And I appreciate that in some aspects because she realizes that this is a lucrative career. This is a lot of money. This is good for her businesses, whatever. So I get trying to keep the show going, but it's just like when she tried to tell us last year that she had autism and was trying to use that to justify her shitty behavior towards Shannon Bedore during the last season. And she thought that the viewers were actually going to buy it. Really, Tamra? You really thought that we were going to believe that you were autistic and just now finding out at 60 years old? And I'm not saying people don't find out things like that at 60 years old. Maybe they do, but we all knew as viewers that Tamara was spewing bullshit when she said that. She was looking for a way to scapegoat her terrible actions and the way she treated Shannon on camera last season because what she thought going into filming last season was that the fans were going to be against Shannon because Shannon got the DUI and she railroaded Shannon and they you know piled on top of her, only for when the season to air, the fans to be on Shannon's side and give her some grace and think Tamra looked like the bad guy, because she really did. She went way too far, and she was very mean and very nasty. And I'm pretty sure that's what's happened this current season. We'll have to wait and find out to watch and see what really happened. But do I think that Tamra's just all of a sudden walked away from her $1 million plus paycheck? Absolutely not. We know better than that. We know how Tamra is. I feel like this is also, Tamra also knows that pulling this whole I quit gimmick is good for the show because we're talking about it, right? She knows the game. She's been in the game over 10 years, 15 years. Get a headline going and it'll drum up interest for the new season, right? Drum up interest for the and it's doing it because all the blogs are talking about it. All the Bravo blogs are talking about it. Andy's talking about it on his radio show. Here I am on my YouTube page talking about it. But I want to hear from you. What do you think? Do you think Tamra really quit the Real Housewives of Orange County, or do you feel like this was all a stunt to garner viewers and attention and drum up interest for the new season? Or do you maybe think like me that maybe she did quit in a split moment, but ultimately she's going to come back at the end of the day? That's what I think. I think as soon as the girls land back in Orange County from New Orleans, she'll be there ready to film when she's had a day or two to think about it, right? I want to hear from you though, so make sure you join the conversation below and let me know your thoughts and opinions on what you think really happened and went down in New Orleans. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet and click that thumbs up button to help me get into the YouTube algorithm. I'd really appreciate that. We're also really close to 10,000 subscribers, so I could really use your help. Click that subscribe button now, okay? And last but not least, if you'd like to join the Damien After Dark movement, help us grow and sustain this podcast, because this is my part-time job now, baby. In the description box below will be some ways that you can donate. All right. Thank you guys so much for the love, the donations, support, likes, comments, subscribing, sharing the video, all that. Okay. Thank you for just engaging, period. I appreciate you. And we'll see you next time on Damien After Dark.